Hello and welcome to the Strong, Healthy, Happy podcast. My name is Debra. Thank you so much for listening to my podcast. And I want to start off by saying thank you so much for all the positive feedback and taking the time and the effort to write your messages to me and to leave reviews on the podcast. It is really appreciated. And it took a lot of courage and bravery for me to start this podcast. And getting your feedback means the world to me, and it's very encouraging. And sometimes when I'm recording these podcasts, obviously I'm sitting in a room all by myself, talking to myself, and it's so nice to know that people are listening. So thank you so much. Let's get on with the podcast topic. Today, I'm going to talk about how to get motivated when you don't feel motivated. And it's very common. It's not unusual. We are human. Our feelings and levels of enthusiasm fluctuates. And I'm just going to start off by talking about and explaining what motivation is and what it isn't, and then ways to increase that. I put it in inverted commas, the feeling of motivation. But let's get started. So, first of all, as much as we use the word feeling motivated, and it's a figure of speech, motivation isn't actually a feeling. Motivation is driven by action, and it is a result of these actions that make you feel motivated. From the actions that you do, and I'll talk about what those actions are and what that means. But when you repeat the actions that you need to do in order to feel motivated, you will begin to see progress. You will begin to see results. You'll feel good for doing those actions. And it is the results and the way that you feel that then fuels your motivation to continue repeating these actions. And that's how you feel motivated. It's driven by the results of your actions and from doing the actions in themselves. Now, it all sounds easy in principle, like everything does when it comes to health and fitness. It all sounds easy in principle, but it isn't always easy to do. We have lives, we have external pressures, we have commitments, and sometimes life gets in the way, as well as our own personal barriers that can stop us doing the very things that we need to do to get the results that we want. So that leads me on to saying, what are you trying to get motivated to do and why? And have you really thought about that? And I talk about your reason why in a lot of my podcasts because it features hugely and it's so important to have a real understanding of your reason why. Sometimes we set a goal without actually thinking about why we want to achieve it. It might be because our friend's doing something similar, so we feel that we should be doing it, or social media is telling you you should be doing this, and so we kind of question, should I be doing that? Or perhaps there's external pressure that's making you feel like you should have this goal. So really think about your reason why, because your reason why is what enables you to do the following points that I'm going to be talking about, and to, more importantly, carry them out consistently over time. And I'll get onto those points. So once you identify your reason why, now this is a health and fitness podcast, so I'm going to use in this podcast episode the reason for motivation being weight loss, right? It's January. Everyone seems to be talking about weight loss. Not that that means that that has to be your goal. And I talked about that in my New Year's pep talk about, having a weight loss goal in January. You don't have to lose weight just because it's January, but that's a different podcast. I'm just going to use it as an example for this podcast. So really, I think about your reason why. Why do you want to lose weight? Why does it matter to you? What is your reason why? Whether it's for health, whether it's for aesthetic reasons, whether it's because you don't feel quite comfortable in yourself, whatever your reason, have a really strong reason why. And then think about, does your goal of weight loss, if that's what your goal is, or whatever your goal is, does it align with your current top 3 values? Now, you might be thinking, what's all this got to do with weight loss? What's values? I just want to lose weight. Let me explain to you, and this is a podcast in itself, so I'm only going to touch on it lightly, but your values are the things that are important to you. So it might be health is one of your top 3 values. It might be that your family and spending time and quality time with your family is one of your top values. It might be your career and progressing along that career ladder is one of your values. It might be that socializing and time connecting with friends is one of your values. So identifying your values is really important, because you might actually find that health doesn't even feature in your top 3 values. So having a goal like weight loss and prioritizing a weight loss goal when it doesn't appear in your top 3 values is going to be quite difficult to achieve, because it may not be the priority for you amongst all the other things that are going on in your life and that you want to progress within. So identify your top 3 values and make sure that your goal is in line with the values that you identify. So if we talk about health being one of your values, but you also identify there are other values going on in your life, is make sure your goal is realistic. Because if you're also looking to climb a career ladder, you're going to have to put a certain amount of time into that value and that goal. And will it take you away from doing your health goal? And if so, that's okay. It's just about setting the realistic and achievable goal so that you're always setting yourself up to succeed and not setting yourself unrealistic goals that leave you feeling potentially like a failure. Your values and identifying them are really important, because your values are like a compass and they steer your decisions. So identify your values, align your goals to them, and make sure your goals are realistic. And I will talk more about values on a separate podcast. But for now, let's get back to how to get motivated when you're not feeling motivated. We're using weight loss as the goal. So we've identified that it aligns with one of our health values. It's in the top 3 of our values. Health is important. And we're using the weight loss goal. What actions, the next thing to do is think about what actions you need to take in order to achieve that weight loss goal. So it might be that you need to begin exercising. It might be that you need to increase your daily steps. It might be that you need to get a food shop in to support your goal, right? And that sounds quite, is that really what I need to do to achieve my goal? But yes, it is, because your nutrition is going to form part of your goal, and setting up your environment will help with that. So you need to think about what your actions are to achieve that goal. In order to achieve those actions, we need to break it down, because this is where the feeling of overwhelm sometimes comes. And you sometimes think, oh my God, I've got to get to the gym 3 times. I need to go running. I need to get my steps up. I need to get them from, I'm currently doing only 3,000 a day. I need to be doing 10,000 a day. And this is where overwhelm comes, because it's like a panic station, and you're looking at what you're currently doing and you're looking at where you think you need to be, when actually we need to set realistic goals. So if you're currently at 3,000 steps, perhaps 5,000 steps is a much more achievable target to have. So think about your actions and how to make them small and achievable, and most importantly, realistic, that without a shadow of a doubt, you can achieve without too much effort. So you're always setting yourself up to succeed. Think about setting yourself a weekly or daily targets. And I like to call them non-negotiables. So it might be, if we use steps as an example, that you're going to set yourself, if you are doing 3,000 steps a day and you want to increase that you're going to set your daily minimum non-negotiable at 5,000, that no matter what happens every day, you're going to achieve that minimum. If you exceed that minimum non-negotiable, fantastic. You've exceeded your minimum non-negotiable target. That's great. But if you don't and you hit that 5,000, then you've achieved that minimum non-negotiable that you set yourself. And it's a great feeling when you can tick off what you set yourself to achieve at the end of the day. And this is setting you up for success. So make your targets small and achievable, whatever those targets in. And it could be not just about exercise, it could, or walk, getting your steps in. It could be, preparing a healthy meal, including protein in one of your meals of the day, if you're currently not, snacking on fruit. It could be really small actions that when they all accumulate and compound, they're going to make a difference in the progress that you make towards your goal. Now, once you identify what it is that you need to do, schedule them into your diary. So the same way you'd put a dentist appointment in, or a work meeting in, or picking the kids up from whatever it is they have after school, whatever it is, schedule in your daily actions. Put them into your diary, whether you use a handwritten diary, a phone diary, whatever diary you use, schedule them in and stay accountable to them. And use that schedule for you to view and see every day, know what you've got planned, and then you just have to carry it out and stick to the plan. Lower the barriers that stop you doing these actions. So you've identified, you know your values, you know your goal, you set realistic actions, you set your minimum non-negotiables, you've scheduled them in, great. But you still need to think about lowering the barriers that are stopping you doing all your actions. So it's time to go for your afternoon walk, or your morning gym session, or your morning run, or whatever it is, and you're not quite feeling like it. So we need to think about lowering the barriers. So let's just say you're in a job and you're planning, you've scheduled in to go to the gym after work. What can you do to lower the barriers is something like taking your gym kit to work with you to change into, and then go from work straight to the gym, so that you don't have to go home, get sucked in by the home environment, making it very difficult to go back out again. That is lowering the barrier. If you're planning to go for a morning workout or a morning run or a morning walk, whatever it is, lay your clothes out ready, lay your gym kit out ready, or your workout kit ready, so that when you wake up in the morning, it's the first thing you see and you know, oh, that's what I'm doing this morning. And that will help lower the barrier for you to do it. In terms of, say, nutrition, if you're leading a very busy life, which I know from my clients, they're all leading busy lives, whether they work or not, their time is full, and making things as easy as possible for you will support you in achieving your goal. So if taking the time to visit the grocery shop is just takes up too much time and you don't have that time, organize weekly online shops, click and collect, or whatever it is that you need to do, so that you can set up your environment, i.e. your home, to make the healthier food choices that you need to make to achieve your weight loss goal, or whatever goal it is that you're working towards. So lower the barrier to you not carrying out the actions that you need to take. And doing online shops makes life easy for you. You then have the food to support the goal. You'll be able to make that healthy meal if that was one of your non-negotiables, and to make those smarter choices to achieve your goal. If I backtrack, you've identified your values, you've set your goals, you've made them realistic, you've set your minimum daily non-negotiables, you've scheduled in all your actions that you need to achieve every day or on a weekly basis. You're also going to be accepting, as a side note, you're going to be accepting if your schedule has to change, right? Because sometimes life gets in the way and the 1 o'clock walk all of a sudden becomes a 3 p.m. walk. Be accepting of change, be open to change, and do it anyway. Once you've done all those things and you repeat them consistently, not perfectly, consistently, even if they're not perfect, you will begin to establish a routine. even if that routine has to change because, like I said, work gets in the way, kids are off school sick, or whatever. Life sometimes gets in the way. Be accepting. But you will begin to establish a routine. This is you building the habits and behaviors to support your weight loss goal or whatever goal. The other thing that really helps is accountability. So I give you an example for myself. If I know that I'm getting up and I'm going to get up and I'm going early for a run or to the gym, and I've laid my clothes out, I've scheduled it all in my diary, before I go to bed at night, I'll say to my husband, I'm getting up and going for a run in the morning, so that I've announced it. I've told him so that he knows. And if I don't get up and go on for that run in the morning, he's probably going to say to me, weren't you going for a run this morning? And then I don't want to have not achieved what I said I was going to do. And so having that external accountability really does help. Now, you can tell a friend, you can announce it on your social media, you can text a friend, you can do whatever you need to do to help you get that additional accountability. And then it holds you accountable, as well as all the preparation that you've done to get to that point of carrying out your action. You will be in a really great routine. You'll get used to following your own routine, and it will start to become what I call your new normal. So whereas before you may not have been doing all these things, when you've been repeating them for some time, and it does take time, you will build the routine and you will get used to doing it. And it will feel strange to not do it because you've been getting the benefits of all these actions and you're beginning to feel good. And so you're going to want to carry out this routine. Now, sometimes with routine, and I like to compare it to cleaning your teeth, right? Every morning we brush our teeth, every evening we brush our teeth. Maybe you do it more frequently, but every morning and every evening we brush our teeth. Now, I can assure you, there are some mornings that I think, oh God, I just want to get on with my day. But you also have to brush your teeth. It's just what you do. Whether you want to do it or not, you just do it, right? And this teeth brushing is something you're going to need to think about on those days when you can't be bothered to carry out your actions, because you will get days like that. And some days doing your actions is going to feel super easy and you're going to do them because you're loving it, you're enjoying it. But there are going to be days where it's going to feel hard. And just like cleaning your teeth, you're going to have to just be disciplined and get your action done, no matter what it is. And I know discipline kind of sounds like a dirty word, but it really isn't when it comes to honoring your values and your goals and doing what's needed to achieve them. And when you do this consistently over time, like I said, you will begin to see progress. You'll feel better. You'll feel better for it. And you, as a result, will feel more motivated to keep repeating these actions. And the more you repeat them, the better you feel, the more progress you make, you'll begin to see results. And it is this that gives you that feeling of motivation that will enable you and encourage you to keep doing the very things that make you feel good, that's starting to get you the results and the progress that you want, that you've identified, that's important to you, that's your why. And it is that will help you feel motivated. Now, I also want to caveat everything I've talked about with something called self-kindness, because I've talked about discipline and I've talked about all the tips in this podcast episode about setting yourself up to succeed. I want to caveat it as well with reminding you that you are human and sometimes life can feel overwhelming and there sometimes feels like so many things to do, or perhaps you're unwell and you're not feeling quite yourself. is also to remember and recognize when you need to show yourself self-kindness and when you need to pull back from the actions that you need to take, and also recognizing when you need to push through. Now, it isn't, no one outside of yourself can tell you that. If you know that you are really rigid in your routine and you never skive or miss a workout, but actually, even though you're digging deep for the discipline, it's not quite happening, you need to recognize whether you need to pull back. And if it's not your usual behavior, the chances are it is time to pull. It might be an occasion to pull back. But if you always look for excuses and you do miss lots of workouts and you don't stay consistent enough, then you need to recognize that actually self-kindness is you showing that discipline to get it done, because your future self will thank you for doing that. So self-kindness can look different for different people. So please bear that in mind and know which method and which approach of self-kindness is right for you, depending on you as an individual. Motivation is like I say, it's not a feeling. It is driven by your actions, and motivation, you will feel motivated as a result of your actions. So remember all the tips in this podcast. Identify your values, set realistic goals, plan and schedule in every day what you need to be doing or on a weekly basis. Set those minimum non-negotiables that you know you can achieve, and those minimum non-negotiables may increase or change over time, and that's okay. Stay accountable, lower the barriers, be consistent, and recognize which method of self-kindness you need at a particular time, and you will feel motivated. And on those days that you don't, your habit and your routine, get it done anyway. And when habit and routine isn't enough, be disciplined, get it done, and be kind to yourself. Have a great rest of your day. If you have any questions off the back of this podcast, or you want to leave me a review, please, I really appreciate the time and effort to either message me direct. All my contact details are in the show notes. My social media is in the show notes. If you're not already following me on either Facebook or Instagram, or both, please do. And interact with me. I'm very approachable. Hopefully you're getting to know me through these podcasts and know that I'm very passionate about helping women feel good. And my virtual door is always open. So please don't hesitate to contact me by any method of communication to get in touch. And if you're not already following the podcast, please do. And feel free to leave me a review. And if you're interested in coaching and you need the support of a coach to achieve your goals, you will be more successful with the support of a coach. As a coach, I am in your corner, backing you all the way to achieve your goals. But hopefully, if you are unable to go forwards with coaching, these podcasts are helping you, and that makes me so happy. So please tell me if they're helping you, and get in touch, message me anytime. I always welcome feedback and questions. It's not so much feedback. Question me. Anything specifically that I can help you with, get in touch. It's no problem at all. Have a great, thank you for listening, and have a great rest of your day.